Greetings.
Oh yeah, what's up, everybody?
What's up?
Man, Easy Opens and Ryan Guy into chat. You know what I'm saying?
Man, not Streambot's not even here. Goodness gracious.
That's what happens when you make a business out of podcasting every other week.
Oh yeah,
and then you're like, then you don't post on Facebook that you're going to podcast it all that day, and then you just that night you're like, this is what we're doing.
I made one post on Instagram. I thought I shared it to Facebook. I guess I didn't. That could explain.
You did not. It was not in the group.
That could explain. Well,
but it's all good because people can come back and watch this or show up later or whatever. It's all good.
Exactly.
I'll open up by saying you may notice I'm wearing all black.
Oh dang, you are all black. Is it for morning?
Yes.
Oh dang. Did a sports team not make it?
The Rays were eliminated from the 2023 playoffs, losing 2 straight games to the Texas Rangers.
Goodness. Texas of all places.
Even there.
And Walker wasn't even there.
No,
Goodness.
Walker, Texas Ranger, wasn't even in the game.
Wasn't even in.
Jeez. Yeah, we scored 1 run in 18 innings of baseball.
What? Jeez. That's not good.
We just weren't the team that we were all season. We won 99 games. We were almost a 100-win team. And we did the same thing we did last year in the playoffs, which is get to the wild card round, and which is a best of 3, and lose 2 straight, scoring 1 run in 2 games.
Goodness.
Oh, Jake Niehaus says he wants to check in from Vegas.
Oh.
Gonna have to sip on that stream later.
Yes.
Hey,
Jake, thanks.
Hey.
Thanks for updating me on the show last night. That was neat. I was like, ooh, that's live updates.
That's your boy Jake. You know what I mean?
You can count on him.
To understand that. That's how it is.
Thanks for stopping by, Jake, and hope you're having a good time. It looks like you are.
Yeah.
It looks amazing out there. So
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. I'm trying to also make the post on while we're doing it on to the group. So yeah, that way if anyone
I do that every time.
I know you do that every time, but I needed
include the link too.
Dang. Well, see, you know what? I just include a picture of my face and hope that brings all the boys to the yard. So
maybe it would.
You know? Oh yeah, that big old fish, Jake. So the Beths, they have like this giant fish that they played around at their when they came here to Crowbar in Tampa, and then they had it out at Vegas too. And I was like, oh shit, that big old fish, and yeah,
that's hilarious.
So legit. Well, this is a chef special for those of you who are new here and those of you who are old here. That's fine. Just you know how we do. And it's a time for us to relax, sit back, kind of just chill, and catch up on some emails and some other things, possibly. Who knows? But whatever may come our way.
Yeah, and, we have some longer emails today. We have that's pretty much it. We have a few emails and whatever else we can conjure up. Is my mouse not working now?
Oh, jeez,
that's not good for anybody.
No,
it's on. Oh God. The best time for a battery to die in your mouse.
Did you take the ball out of it and clean the ball?
No, it was just like it was just off. I don't know why it turned off. The battery, I mean, it's not showing a red light, so it's got to be on.
So I mean,
this is riveting.
It is. I mean, hey.
Yeah, so I don't know. Did you want to get straight into the emails, or did you want to chat a little bit? Warm it up or what?
Let's just warm it up a little bit. Let's just let it percolate, you know, just a little bit.
Yeah. So baseball's over for me, and that's a sad thing.
So what's the next thing you got? Like, what's the next thing that's going to take up all your time?
I always feel this way at the end of the season. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yet. Like it's weird.
What generally does though? Is there so there's not a pattern, or there's not like okay, well then now I'm looking forward to this thing next, like as per usual.
There's a fallow period because the playoffs are still going for other teams. And you watch a little of that because you kind of miss baseball.
Yeah.
And you know, and then that'll end this month, and then it's just a lot of sitting around. Eventually things do. You know what I mean? Like painting or the classic stuff, painting, music, video games. I mean, something comes to take the place.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But it's one of those things where at the end of every baseball season, because it lasts so long and it's such a part of your life when it's on, you're like, you don't know what you're going to do.
Right.
That's just how it's been my entire life. Like anytime I'm kind of like, I don't know, like what I'm gonna do now.
Yeah.
And then of course things, whatever. And then you have to kind of go to sleep a little bit on it because it's almost like waiting on something that's like forever away. Because like spring training doesn't start till like late February,
Right.
March. So you're just kind of like not kind of, and you
Mm-hmm.
then all of a sudden like it's coming up and you're really excited. But like the winter's the dead time. I'm just gonna try to take advantage of the weather being nicer.
Oh
We're supposed to get a
yeah.
little bit of a cold front this weekend, which is nice.
That's always nice here in Florida.
And yeah, no, you set your mind to other stuff, and then you kind of let it go, and then you come back. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's just a bitter way to end something. It's wild how like how long the season is. That oh, you make the playoffs, and we've been lucky to we made the playoffs the last 5 seasons straight. Like
Yeah.
which is really cool. A lot of teams can't say that.
Mm.
But it's a real gut punch when it ends. It's wild how much Alicia always talks about like tying your mental health to baseball. And
Oh
that's something
yeah.
that her and I both wind up doing. And it's a great decision when you're winning.
Oh,
And you're like,
absolutely.
yeah, you feel you have like everything behind your back. And then
Yeah.
when you lose, especially like this again, like in the playoffs, you're just like
Yeah. You're in the
you just don't
doldrums.
know what to do. You know what I mean? Like you're just
Yeah.
kind of like it just feels like you just don't know what to say, especially when they're not even hard fought games. Like when you just lose and
Right.
and lately the last 2 years scoring no runs is just like so frustrating.
Do you
It's
think
so frustrating.
so? Can I ask you two ridiculous questions real quick?
Yep.
That aren't necessary. That one of them's kind of serious. Well, not super serial, like
Okay.
death or anything,
No,
but like
super,
more like so. I have two. I have three questions. No, I have
okay.
two separate questions. One has an addendum, but I'm going to put it at the beginning, so a prelude.
Okay. I appreciate the
Is
table of contents.
in this paragraph, I'm going to tell you why this and this.
Yeah, no,
In my declaration of intent.
You got your 5-paragraph essay ready to go.
Right. Okay. So, who decides what jersey sports teams wear and when? Like is there a designated person for that, or do they do it on feeling? Is it a vote? Like I didn't know if you have an answer for that.
Typically, from at least in baseball, from what I understand, is it is based a lot on like laundry.
Oh.
They play so much. So like football teams play once a week. They can wear whatever jersey they want. They typically have like a home jersey and away jersey, and then they have like different, kind of different jerseys, like special ones.
Right.
In baseball, you have your home, your away, your alternate home, and sometimes people have what's called like a City Connect jersey, which is really cool. Where they like
Mhm.
and teams have been getting them kind of progressively. We don't have one yet,
Okay.
but some of them are really cool.
Oh, neat.
So it's a lot of laundry. It's rare that you'll see a baseball team wear the same jersey twice in a row.
Yeah.
However, it's different. Like if you're the Yankees, where like at home they wear the pinstripes. It's pretty
Yeah.
kind of got to wear it. I'm sure they have several sets. I think that we have several sets of the light blue ones we wear.
But we
which is
also
technically
go
our
by
alternate.
but we also go by like the sunshine rays, if you will, and then the devil rays. And so like I didn't know if there was like they flip a coin and they're like, oh, so my next part of my question.
So we wear the retro Devil Rays jerseys this year on Friday home games. That's when we wore
Okay.
those.
Okay.
Like so that was it was always like a throwback night. Like they've been doing this last couple seasons, where on Friday night home games, it's like 90s night.
Okay.
So all the graphics in the stadium are all like 90s based. Like we wear the Devil Rays uniforms, and stuff like that. And then we have we actually got rid of our away grays, which I'm happy. Usually, traditionally in baseball, the away team wears gray, and the reason that is, and this goes back to the beginning of baseball, was when you were at home, you wore white, and a lot of the jerseys look the same.
Yeah.
And that's why teams like the Red Sox, who used to be called the Red Stockings, got their name, is because they wore red socks. That was their team. That was how you knew who they were.
Right.
All these uniforms back in the earliest days of baseball didn't even have like numbers on them.
Oh,
they
okay.
might have a number, but like no name on the front. It was just a white billowy, like imagine Babe Ruth, like everything you've seen, like just a billowy button down.
Yeah.
That was white with white pants. And they would have distinctive stuff. The White Sox used to wear black socks.
That's
And that was their
ironic.
thing, which is kind of strange.
Yeah, that's weird.
Then they started wearing white socks, but then they basically threw the World Series in 1928 or something, and that was called the Black Sox scandal.
Oh.
A bunch of players literally threw the last game of the World Series because they were all paid off to, and they literally
okay.
like threw it. And it was like,
Jeez.
you ever heard the phrase like "say it ain't so, Joe," or something, or
Sure.
a phrase like that?
Yeah.
That's literally a reporter caught Shoeless Joe Jackson, who was a member of the Black Sox team, on the way out of some team meeting, and literally said that out loud, like "say it ain't so."
Say it ain't
to
so.
him.
Oh, dang.
And he basically like didn't say it ain't so.
Oh, snap.
Like he basically was just like, well, we'll talk about that later. Like, and it was like this huge confirmation that it happened.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So that's the whole "say it ain't so, Joe" thing. But they used to wear gray jerseys because they would show dirt less.
Oh,
because they couldn't do laundry on the road. So they would come to another city and like they just couldn't do laundry there. So like they would wear these gray jerseys for like days in a row.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't look as nasty as white jerseys would in that time.
That makes sense.
We had a gray away jerseys that we actually just like dead ass ditched this year, which I'm so happy because I just don't like gray jerseys. They're boring. They're like,
yeah.
eh.
Yeah.
So the question of who decides, I don't know who exactly decides.
Okay.
Unless it's a special night, like you're going to wear your, the Devil Rays on Friday night at home. But I think a lot of it has to do with laundry rotation.
Okay, that practical, simple, makes sense. Yeah. I get it. Oh, the Citrine Ghost says, "Hey y'all, hey y'all, back to you,
back to you.
Thanks.
What's your other question?
Popping in. My other question is, well, I was going to ask, like, do you think that the person that decided about what jersey to wear was like, oh, well, I thought I should have worn the other jersey, and then we would have won the game if I would have worn that. If we would have worn that, but since you're saying it's laundry based, that's a different thing. So now I get it.
Yeah, no, I mean, we decided to, speaking of the Devil Ray, we decided to open up the first game of the series wearing the Devil Ray stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's supposed to be like a little, oh damn, dude, like hell yeah, let's get into it. But after we didn't score a run, many fans were like, yeah, probably shouldn't have worn Devil Rays stuff, given that they weren't the winningest team.
Yeah.
And you played like the Devil Rays last night and all that stuff.
Dang. Okay, so there is some bite back from that.
There's some bite back. So then we wore our dark blue, like home jerseys for this last game, which I was at, and I enjoyed seeing one run scored. That was
goodness. Well, so now this is a fun one, a silly one, if you will.
Silly one.
Why do you think kickball didn't take off as much as baseball has? Why isn't kickball America's pastime? Do you think it's the extra equipment? Because really with kickball, all you need is like shoes and a ball. But baseball.
Given that kickball was based off of baseball, I'm pretty sure it's because it came later to the party.
Right. Okay. So, but I'm just curious if it's like, if there was anything else to it that like, do you think Big Glove had a hand in it? That like Big Glove. I did not mean that. That's so good.
Big Glove had a hand in it.
I totally did. That was so genuine. I did not mean that.
Well, actually, see, Big Glove couldn't have, because by the time baseball was already proliferating, guys didn't wear gloves at all.
Really? Oh my goodness.
Dude. No, the first. So baseball, see, and this is why I love baseball, because it's so infinitely old. It is so ancient that it has so many interesting stories based around it. Like for and that's why, I know that you're probably never going to be a baseball fan, but I always thought if there was a sport you could get into, it would be baseball, because it's so goddamn weird. Yeah. It's the weirdest sport. So people didn't wear gloves because it was never thought to have needed to be a thing until, and catchers, listen, dude, catchers didn't wear mitts, dude.
No,
they would break fingers regularly. Oh, that was just seen as just part of being a catcher in baseball.
Yeah.
Until one guy, I can't remember who he was, it the Boston Braves. One guy decided to wear leather gloves, and they were like work gloves, basically. Yeah. They weren't padded really. He decided to wear them, and he actually got a shade of leather. He went to like a glove store, because back in 1908 or whatever, like that was the thing, the hand glove store. And he got a leather color that matched his skin the closest he could, because he didn't want people to see him wearing gloves, because people would freak out.
Right.
And he literally only had them on when he was faced away from the crowd. Like when he was in his catching position, he'd like slip them on between his legs and like
Yeah.
catch with them and then try to take them off real fast. Well, people obviously saw it.
Right.
And there was outrage. Like in the paper the next day, they were like, this wussy wearing gloves. And he was like, I'm just tired of tearing my shit up.
Yeah.
But he refused to stop wearing them. And eventually everyone started wearing them. Then fielders started wearing them and making them way bigger than their hands so they could catch balls easier.
Yeah.
And but before that though, they just wore regular leather gloves too.
That's nuts.
Like, yeah. So you see an outfielder make a wild running catch, right? Like dives for a ball.
Okay.
And you know how big that glove is? It helps him catch the ball.
Right.
Those were barehanded plays back in the day.
Jeez, that's nuts.
Oh, dude, there was a whole era of baseball called the dead ball era where it was seen as they would use the same baseball all game.
Oh.
And it was seen as unsportsmanlike.
Yeah.
To like lose the ball, and that was cheating.
Oh, interesting.
So it was called the dead ball era because balls were made like honestly like handmade back then.
Yeah.
And you hit a ball enough times and it gets soft and spongy and weird. And the ball wouldn't go very far when you hit it.
That's kind of neat though. I kind of like the idea of that where it's a handicap that just kind of happens when it does and you don't necessarily know when it will. So
here's the best part. Oh no. The early in the game, the ball was popping.
Right.
Like you could hit home runs, you could hit doubles and stuff. Later in the game, that ball wasn't going out.
Yeah.
It was because whatever. There was at one point a riot because an outfielder for the Cubs went to catch the ball and it went like over the wall. He says it went over the wall. This is also in twilight because they didn't have lights.
Right.
So they played during the day, but if a game went too long, it was getting dusk. Everyone thought he hid the ball in the ivy in the walls at Wrigley. He insisted it went out of bounds. Full on fan riot.
What?
The visiting fans were like, you intentionally threw the ball over the wall or stuffed it in the ivy to lose it so you could get a new baseball.
Right.
Because your team's coming up to bat. And it's like the 8th inning. And you want a new baseball.
Yeah.
And you're screwing us, basically. Bottom of the 8th, you want a brand new baseball. And they had to stop the game.
That's wild.
Like, the best part of this is the part where you just don't think about these things.
Yeah.
But as you know, right, it's getting darker. And so it's getting more twilight. And the ball is getting more and more scuffed up and muddy and dirty from the thing. So it's harder to see.
Right. Oh. Dang.
So you could just be hitting the head.
Yeah. Just
most players wore hats to bat.
Oh.
So a hat like mine.
Like a baseball
hat.
No
batter helmet. That was a baseball hat. And you wore that up to bat with a guy throwing, probably around 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You can't see the ball. You don't know if it's going to hit you in the head, hit you in the body, go over there. Because it was almost black.
Yeah.
Like with dirt. That's how nasty it was. Yeah.
Dang.
So baseball's fucking weird because it's just weird because of all the old weird things about it. And yeah, so Big Glove couldn't have had a really big reason why kickball didn't take off.
To have a hand in it. That's too good.
Although I'd tell you, kicking a kickball home run would be amazing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be wild. Like just
Can you imagine if pitchers develop for kickball pitching?
Oh, yeah.
Like if it did take off. So there's like this big ass red ball and there's these people that can like make it like skid around and stuff like that, like make you miss the kick.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
That'd be nuts. Could you imagine but the sound you hear when you kick that
kickball
kickball sound. Boom. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So good. So satisfying, especially like coupled with like a home run. Like
so I saw a ball kicked a soccer ball kicked off of the mound in a baseball game when Martin Gramatica, the old kicker for the Bucks, threw the first pitch. And before he threw the first pitch at this game I went to, he had a soccer ball because him and his family are like really into soccer. That's how he became like an NFL kicker.
Yeah.
He kicked a soccer ball, drop kicked a soccer ball from the pitcher's mound up into the 200 seats.
Oh, jeez.
And then he threw the first pitch, which was a dead strike.
Oh goodness!
It was pretty impressive.
Dang,
because it was like oh, Martin Gramatica. And I didn't see the baseball. I just saw the soccer ball under his arm. And I was like, is this cat going to kick the first pitch with a soccer ball?
Right.
And not throw a baseball?
Right.
And no, he just drop kicks. And I mean, he's in his late 50s at this point. He kicked this soccer ball 100 yards and then was like, oh, and now a fastball strike right down the middle. Thank you. I was like, Martin, you're the best.
Goodness.
Or when you just call him automatic or Grammatica.
Because
the joke was he was such a good kicker that you could just walk and go take a piss when it was a field goal and you just know it.
Yeah.
That he'd make it.
Dang. That's gotta be nice to just know that, oh, you're gonna succeed. I can go take a piss. Like, yeah, that's gotta be.
Oh no, I mean that 2003 team, he was on that team, and yeah, dude, like I dead ass, like I'd be like, all right, well, let me go get a Coke, and she'd be like, oh, 45-yard field goal. I'm like, well, that's 3 points.
Right.
Hey, what you doing, man? Like, let me go get some cookies. Like, I was like, oh,
goodness.
Yeah, but thanks for indulging my sports talk. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. That's what friends are for.
Good times.
You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, well, speaking of things that friends are for emails. And
friends are for emails.
At Turtle Soup, we've received two from two good longtime friends of ours. They're patrons. They are just good people, and they make sure that we don't say clang. And we've mentioned before that, like, the longer emails, we're trying to save for the chef specials just because we don't want to feel rushed going through them and also have to rush the actual Prime episode. And so this is kind of a compromise, I guess, or just another adjacent way of making your dreams come true and our dreams come true. Everyone's just dreaming. It's one big dream fountain of reality. And so
yeah, totally right. The longer emails were kind of moving to chef specials on YouTube just to be able to stretch out them a little bit more. So this is from John O'Barnes, you know what I'm saying? And I tell you, long time.
Oh man,
I have not ever once said clang, because John Barnes is amazing.
Exactly.
And
same here.
That's all we need to say.
Yep.
This one is entitled Howdy. It's about more than that.
I love that.
It says, word. How the devil is it going? Do you like turtles? Yeah. Do you like music? Fuck yeah. Well, what do you think are the favorite songs of everyone in the TMNT universe?
Oh, geez.
I have spent a disproportionate amount of time thinking about this, so let's go.
Okay.
Now, this is interesting because John mentions like a ton of different songs. If we've heard these songs, we're gonna like talk about them. Sometimes there's songs that I feel like I've heard, but I'm gonna name them all. So, and we can't play them on the show, sadly.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I feel like if this email was like about 8-9 years ago,
we would have just done it.
Low key played them on the podcast and been like hee hee and like not cared. But obviously we don't want to get deplatformed.
Right.
So Leo. I think Leo is one of those people who overly tries to be in touch with his spiritual side to try and look edgy and different, which is why I have the 2012 Leo. But why I love the 2012 Leo, because he looks like like that Star Trek type show and other things which make him more normal. So I think Leo would always have on Porcelain by Moby, which I've heard that song, that definitely tracks.
I have not heard that song, but I know what Moby sounds like, and that's fine. I can see that. Yeah.
Or to take it up a notch, Return to Innocence by Enigma, which once again, it all very electronic, and I can totally see that for him.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe what we can do is we can pause on each character.
Okay. And
then kind of give our thoughts, like in addendum, or maybe disagree, agree on those songs.
Yeah.
So I can also see Leo liking something obnoxiously dad rock, like Breakfast at Tiffany's.
I get that. I can definitely see the electronica stuff, like the electronic pop stuff, because there's a formulaic. Most songs have formulas to them, but they seem a little bit more like rooted in something that Leo can, but also has like that, like you were saying, the almost what did he say about his tries to be in touch with his spiritual side. Like there's this weird sense in some of this electronic stuff that it's cold, but there's also like more to it. And it keeps
a constant kind of like clean rhythm
Yeah.
going. And I feel like that would definitely be like a Leo thing.
Yeah, definitely.
For
Because
sure.
Leo is almost always the one you can fall back on. Like you can count, you
Yeah.
definitely can count on Leo. The other ones questionable, but like you could always count on Leonardo, and for good or bad. But then the dad rock thing, I think that's cool because, like Breakfast at Tiffany's, because I think that might be Leo's way of trying to connect with people who he might be like kind of emotionally cold to, or like he might feel like he needs to, as a leader, he might need to relate to other people.
Yeah.
And that would be a good thing to like break bread on, or with, or whatever, like with your subordinates, or whatever you want to call them. And I don't know, I can totally see that. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, no, I can see the pace of that stuff with him. Especially if you're leaning more toward the 2012 Leo. Yeah, it seems like whatever he listened to though would not offend you.
That's true.
Like at all. Like if you were to look through his stuff, you'd be like, oh word. Like nothing here is gonna make me go like, wow, what Leo, man, that's wild. Like, no, like it'd be pretty straightforward, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
So he says then that for Donnie, so this is an easy one, Over and Over by Hot Chip, which I've not heard.
So I liked, I think, one Hot Chip record, but it was so long ago, and I can't really remember a lot about them, but I do remember liking it, and I thought it had a little bit more of a dance electro pop kind of thing, but more of like in a somewhat band scenario instead of just like a DJ or whatever. And I can see
the equivalent for Donnie be something more like AJR.
Oh, see, I don't know how
like
they
modern era.
I don't know how they sound. But I would think that Donnie would have some more. See, when I started saying this about Leo, it still made sense for Leonardo, but I think it also makes sense for Donnie having the electronic stuff that it's like the fact that it's so cold and calculated, that appeals to him, because he can see, he could probably see, like, has a form of synesthesia where he just sees in binary, like all the music. But
he's like in the Matrix or something. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know, that's fine. I can see that.
Yeah, I think for Donnie, it feels weird to be like, oh, also electronic music for Donnie,
right?
But if there was ever a turtle I thought would be the least like into music, it would be Donnie. Actually, like whenever I think about Donnie, I think like he probably like is the guy who like opens up YouTube and like is letting the YouTube rabbit hole just kind of get him going on like whatever kind of electronic music.
Yeah,
like anything to be easy. Yeah, like anything like chill hop, something be easy like to code to and to work to and stuff like that. And then Donnie couldn't tell you one artist.
Right. Yeah, he couldn't name any track.
Yeah, as detail oriented as Donnie is, he sounds like he doesn't necessarily go into being so detail oriented about like artistic stuff. It feels like that's just background for the things that like the kind of the cold steel that he understands and those kind of things like that. But I can see that. I need to listen to that Hot Chip song, but I can see it.
Yeah.
So Raph was a bit tougher to pick for, but ultimately I think he would go for NWA. I guess he would rep New York rather than California, but I can see him vibing to Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I could see. I think definitely. I think I would have to say New York. I think that he would be aware a lot more of the New York side of things.
But I can't.
What's funny is though,
listening to P Diddy though, like that's the thing.
Well, that's the problem. Is Raph kind of is like he is a lot more California than New York. If you were going to go for that,
yeah. That's the big thing. But
yeah.
But I can see like anything, but like Nas or like any of the other big New York rappers, even Biggie, but like still, like I always think of Biggie, and this might be sacrilege, but Streets University here, like I always thought of Biggie, no disrespect, but it felt like there was a lot more like of what Raph would probably be into with the California Tupac Snoop side, Dre side, all day side, whole 8 side, if you will. And
okay.
So
hello.
So I can totally see that. The bad boy stuff, I don't see Raph really getting down.
Yeah, Bad Boy was like too clean and way too about like money and stuff. And there's a lot of what like New York kind of was. Now that was mainstream.
Oh,
there
was
some wild Like, I mean, New York, before California really took off, New York was a huge hotbed for like indie hip hop
Right.
and indie rap. I could see him like really being into that. One artist that, if we're going back to a rap that was like extant in the 80s,
Mhm.
okay, like into
Yeah.
the
Oh,
mid to
okay.
late 80s, into the 90s, I can see him being a massive fan of the scene that the Beastie Boys came out of, because
Oh,
that was a mixture of like punk rock, hardcore, and hip hop
yeah.
was all like a big swirl,
Totally
and it
see him into that.
produced Beastie Boys. I can see Raph literally being a scene guy in that. He is as likely to go to a punk show and smash heads and be all into that message and all into that
Right.
vibe, and then go into some more of that kind of like backroom distorted indie hip hop and stuff that was going on at that time. I can see him being all over that. And then when the gangsta stuff started up over in the West Coast, him picking that thread up and getting into that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, totally. Totally see all that. I totally agree. And that's I don't know, I'm trying to
Oh, we got chat.
oh yeah, we do. I'm trying to think of some other rappers from New York, and I want to say like, but then you're talking about the 80s and stuff. So like that's a little I don't know as much, but I totally agree with the Beastie Boys thing. I think he would definitely be there for that,
Mm-hmm.
because I could see him like you like, basically echoing everything you just said. Like you'll see him at a hip hop show, then a punk rock show, then a hardcore show, and just totally be into that.
Yeah. I think all that mixes up. So the music is all about the aggression, and I think that he would wind up listening to like the deeper indie hip hop artists that he got into in New York, and then listening to mainstream like gangster rap and stuff from the West Coast more.
Right.
I also don't see him being a big West Coast East Coast guy, so he just like all that. I don't think he would get drawn up in all that crap,
Yeah,
because
no.
I think that the hip hop minds and the mindset that he came up in New York wasn't about that shit anyway. I
Right.
think he would honestly look at Bad Boy and be kind of like, I don't know, like
Yeah.
he'd probably be like, Biggie's good, uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
a little bit, like, you know what I mean? Because New York's too smooth. Their
It
mainstream
is.
stuff was way too smooth
It was.
for me.
I agree.
Oh man, Preston's in chat. You're gonna succeed. I'm gonna go piss. Yeah, no, that's
Oh,
basically exactly what
he said to add it to the
what
list, which is a
yeah,
ongoing list we have for songs and or bands or whatever that we're gonna have
yeah.
to create something about. So yes, Preston, that is true. We need to add that to the list.
Man, so let's see. So Donnie's definitely a Faith No More guy. Interesting. Interesting.
Oh,
Donnie Faith No More.
okay,
Hmm.
okay.
Maybe he could probably have gotten in on that.
But that
Like,
seems, I don't know. I really I'm really stuck with like what we said, like about how
yeah.
he seems like he wouldn't appreciate music at all. And Faith No More,
Mhm.
from what I know, and you know
Yeah.
from y'all talking about them as much, that's more of like a musician's band, like that you appreciate them a lot more when you appreciate music and other things, that to know what they're actually doing. But I don't know, maybe inside out boys himself and gets into that. I could, if Donnie showed up and I saw his CD wallet and it had Faith No More in there, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
yeah, sure, that's cool.
You could work to it. Chris Garvey's in the chat, but the accent, damn, I don't know what that means. I've been trying to like figure that one out. I don't know.
Is it Raphael's accent from the movie? And then he goes,
Yeah.
"Damn."
Oh, yeah, true.
Could it be that?
True.
Yeah,
Very New York.
very New
Um,
York.
no, them smart dudes like that metal.
He's right.
Um,
You're right. You're right, Dub. That's true.
Well,
The
if you
smart boys.
okay, I'll say this. I'll say this. If we're talking about let's flash forward all the way to like Mutant Mayhem Donnie. Okay, like the newest,
Oh.
hottest, freshest incarnation of Donnie we've ever seen.
Okay.
He's young. He's on the internet. He can see anything he wants. That dude would be into that gent shit, 100%. Like I can see Donnie being into
Like-
ultra complicated
like
like
Polyphia?
like gent metal. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like he would eat that shit alive because
Interesting.
it's so interesting. It would activate his mind, and he would just be like on that
Oh,
Polyphia,
okay.
like, oh shit, oh damn, like working, and
Okay.
and it would get in his head, and he would find it interesting mathematically, and I think he would appreciate, because to me as a music fan, the thing I like about like whatever like gent associated stuff, or you know, this new flavor of like kind of progressive metal that's going on
Mm-hmm.
is honestly, the more technical the arrangements get, the more it is like a feat of engineering.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
do you know what I mean? Like, if you guys haven't heard the song Goat by Polyphia, right?
Right.
Like, check that song out. And if you listen to Goat and you realize, and then right when you get done listening to like the album version of it, go watch them play it live.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah, it's sick.
It's the same.
Yeah.
And it is a feat of engineering for all of them to be playing everything at the same time, for the drummer to play all of that live perfectly and them all be dead on all those weird polyrhythms and stuff.
Mm.
It's a construction.
Yes.
It's not pop music. It's a constructed piece of art.
Well,
I can see Donnie getting into that.
Absolutely. I guess what my thought process is that Donnie would try to figure it out because he's one of those people that like wants to break down everything, I guess. And
Yeah.
but he would be less impressed by the actual sound so much as more as the technicality of
Yeah.
it. I think he would be.
Oh, yeah.
and I think that's what you were saying. So yeah. So I can see that. So Father Preston, thank you for that. I concede a little bit.
No,
on
he's
that.
moving around, and once you get into like into more like challenging progressive metal,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm gonna new drink spin
Oh,
Father
spin that
Preston
wheel.
right around to being right about Faith No More. Is then you start going back
Okay.
and you realize Faith No More was pretty progressive.
Right.
And
Oh,
then,
definitely.
You know, there's dudes on YouTube covering Faith No More riffs and like talking about how kind of crazy Faith No More was. Well, now you're back on that Faith No More.
Right.
Now, Donnie's not an album guy, but Donnie will put on a Faith No More playlist and get down into that as well.
Interesting.
And I can see actually new gent metal getting him into older stuff that was challenging progressive metal to
Right.
start with.
Right.
That'd probably get him down to Mr. Bungle rabbit hole because they can get that way, and he'd be everywhere. And all of a sudden, Donnie'd be listening to the craziest music of anyone. But
oh, that's right. I got Mr. Bungle
You know what I mean?
and Faith No More mixed up. I was that's what I was talking about with the musicians band that like they are more like that. That's what I was getting crossed up on. But yeah, no,
well, that's the thing about Faith No More, because like you hear their first album with Mike Patton, The Real Thing. I mean, it's a little bit. I never want to call Faith No More down the middle, because they're not really a down the middle rock band or
Right.
metal band. There's some stuff that hints toward more challenging things, but when you grab Angel Dust, their record after that,
yeah,
that record's got some of that shit on it. That like, and you can totally see how Mike Patton was exerting his power
right
over Faith No More and making them weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder. But yeah, Mr. Bungle, he might find himself back on that Mr. Bungle, and then you don't know what he's listening to after that.
Yeah, no.
Oh, another artist that he would get into right around there would be Aphex Twin.
Oh, okay.
Because if he ever got into like challenging progressive like electronic industrial,
Yeah.
he'd go right down that rabbit hole too.
Right.
And it'd just be a whole thing. He'd be listening to Soundscapes by
Yeah.
DVOA and like all this different shit, and he started listening to Front 242 and Legendary Pink Dots, and once again, he probably wouldn't be able to tell you like, oh, here's the history of Chicago industrial, but you'd find him listening to the deepest cuts of anybody, because it'd be that YouTube rabbit hole just shooting him down these streets where he'd just be like, oh, I love I'm into all this shit. And it would just be like, he'd be the most indie of the indie anyone.
Right.
Not from his own means, but because some guy was like, yo, I did like a 20-second Instagram reel about, yo, Goat by Polyphia screwed up, listen to this. He'd be like, oh, that's interesting. And then that'd be the end of it.
Right.
Like, it'd
right.
just be right down the rabbit hole. Did somebody say Michael McDonald's Patton and summon me?
Mike, are you a fan of Faith No More? I feel like we haven't talked about them but with each other before.
I feel like Mike has to be a fan of Faith No More, Mr. Bungle, because of how him and I bonded over soda gummies. There's just no way that like he could not.
Yeah.
He couldn't be like a Mike Patton hater and me and him like be friends. So
That's true.
I'm pretty sure that he's a fan of one or the other. What's up, Michael McDonald's fam? I need to hang out with the band.
Yeah.
Mainly Michael McDonald's.
Sure.
More than when we just record.
You do.
Because
He's a treat.
Anytime I'm around Michael McDonald's, I'm so much happier than when I'm not. And I only ever see him in pre-production or production for an EP. And then I'm like, all right, Mike, see you in a year and a half. And he's like, Cool, see ya.
You should.
But those times we're together, we're all about it.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I don't understand.
You should come hang out for like 6 hours at a paperback whale show where we play
I know,
last.
I
and
should. I should
you
go to
can
shows.
stay and
I should go
hang
to
out with him
shows.
the whole night.
I should go to shows. I'm the biggest piece of shit about supporting Paperback Whale. I guess I don't know. I guess like I record all the EPs, so I guess that's my support.
That's your
But
support.
I would
No.
I'd love to be out there, but then all of a sudden, like every show, I'm sure everyone says this, man. It's always the same thing. It's always like, hey man, show coming up this Friday. I'm like, oh damn, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh cool. What day is it? Thursday. I'm like, fuck, and then I just don't get out there.
Yeah.
I
You
don't know.
say you didn't know about it, but then I checked the Facebook and I'm like, you shared it, Ryan. You liked it
I know.
and you shared it. You hearted it again.
I don't remember shit, dude.
I don't blame you. We don't want to play our shows either until we get there. Then we're like, oh no, this is fun. I like
Mike
this.
says, absolutely. I need to spend more time with Tomahawk. Yeah, Tomahawk's really good. The first Tomahawk record, sneaky good. Really, really good. What's over Return of the Deep Dive and Daddies, man. Mike McDonald's. Let me tell you something. All right, so if all of our music buddies want to stick around, we're gonna be getting into more music talk about the Turtles.
Please do.
Moving on to Mikey.
Ooh.
John says, Mikey, if we're talking Mikey and we're talking the animated series, the 87 series, would definitely be jamming to Rude by Magic.
I don't know this one.
I don't know that song.
And John, you put the links, but unfortunately we're unprepared.
Yeah, we can't. We're unprepared. I can't play them.
Yeah, I did not take the time to, because I don't usually read the emails beforehand. So we didn't.
Hold on a minute. I might be able to let me see here.
Okay, if you're
play them to myself.
Okay.
So I can just listen to it.
Okay, yeah, because if I try to do anything, it's going to come over. So
Yeah.
you do that. But yeah. So while you're doing that,
I've heard this song. So this guy covers. So the link he sent was that pop song "Rude."
Okay.
Like, why do you have to be so rude? You know that song?
No, I don't. But
Don't you know I'm human? Yeah, all that song. But it's a reggae. They're like a reggae sounding band. It's a reggae cover of that.
Okay. I could definitely see Mikey getting down with some reggae. Like that's especially some Regatta de Blanc, because the 87 one is totally a white dude. So
I gotta watch out. I gotta watch out for when like I hear modern reggae.
Yeah.
Because all the bass players in those bands understand the assignment.
Because then you're gonna get hooked.
And the bass line's just too goddamn good. I'm just like, I can't. Like it's
Are your shoes still
they
on?
Understand that all their so the bass players in modern reggae, and this isn't to say that old bass players didn't know what they were doing because it was really good.
Yeah.
But now it's all recorded better.
Yeah.
So they know they're and they know what to do. So they're like, oh, so that's the rhythm I get to play with. I've been doing this for 5 years.
Right.
And the bass lines are gross. And you're like, I can't.
Yeah.
Like
no.
it's way too good. So I listened to that cover and I'm like, that's an all right. And I think Rude's an all right song. You know what I mean? I think it's a good song. I actually really enjoyed Scott Bradley's cover of it. Scott Bradley does you got really big a while back doing all the old timey covers of songs.
Okay. Yeah.
He was like his postmodern jukebox.
I am familiar with them. Yeah.
Scott Bradley on piano.
Yeah.
They did a cover of Rude that I thought was really, really good in like a very kind of old, like 30s style.
Oh, that's neat.
But no, I can see Mikey. So what John's saying, he has an addendum.
Yeah.
However, if we're talking about Mikey, who's a bit of a pervert, that I can see him putting this on the pool party and making his shell tight.
Oh my god.
And then it's Me So Horny by Two Live Crew.
Right. And that's totally within the same realm. Yeah. I can see that.
Mikey can be all over the place. I feel like Mikey, just to my gut, you could put Mikey in any music.
That's true. As long as it's
almost any music.
Yeah, you can't really say anything like you want to be inclined to say like, well, not like super sad stuff, but no, your boy gets sad. I like that cover of Rude by Magic, but it's real chill. Yeah.
It's real chill down there.
Got it.
Well, it was on the 11th. I don't know why I'm doing it.
I know. I just did it to see if you would do it
or whatever. But I think. I guess we haven't recorded 312, so we're
still technically in the realm of 311.
We're still. Yeah. I pop myself. But
there you go.
I could see Mikey being any era of Mikey, but I mean, if we're talking about like, it would have to be somewhat modern, I guess, because this music only became a common modern in modern times. I can see him being into like all that like Japanese pop stuff, dude. I can see him
definitely.
just going wild on that
Definitely.
because it's as hyperactive and as like sunny and everything as he is.
Yeah.
So it would just jibe. You just be hearing nothing but that coming out of his little portal in the sewer. It'd just be all that
Yeah.
all the time, obnoxiously, like wall to wall.
Yeah. I could see it.
I could totally see that. But I think the reggae is a good thing, and I can almost imagine a weird thing where like Mikey and Raph bond over the reggae
Yeah.
because the hidden side of aggression and guys that are into like hardcore and stuff like that. The hidden side is that ultra chill reggae
Yeah.
penchant that they have. They have a penchant for just like the slowest, chillest shit. Like when they're in the downside.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think so.
I can see like Mikey dropping some of that magic business.
Sure.
And then Raph, who I always said Raph would be the one to be on the devil's lettuce more than anybody, honestly.
Oh yeah, you
Raph
said
would be
that.
on that devil's lettuce, and he'd be roll by and hear that magic and be like, "Now, no, though," and he'd go sit down on that. She'd be like, "No, this is like vibe. This is vibe I want." Right
and then he'll start using a crayon to draw pictures of him and Leo and or Venus on a back of a motorcycle and.
What did it say?
Driving.
Born to ride,
born
to ride,
or something like that, or riding free,
riding free, or something like so ridiculous.
But
so ridiculous.
Also, an addendum to Leo. I would think that Leo would definitely. I could see Leo finding himself listening to anime intro and outros, because just a bunch of that. Because I went through a phase of that, and I could totally see Leo listening to all that stuff. So yeah,
I'm pretty sure my daughter's turning into an anime character. I'll be like,
that's awesome.
Just like one day I'm gonna walk out and she's be like, "Ba-ding!" I'm gonna be like, like blown out. You know what I mean? Like she's gonna have like the huge eyes. I'm just gonna be like, how'd that happen? It's like, well, over time, just gradually.
So I saw a TikTok real quick that talked about the reason why anime characters, generally speaking, are like so cute, if you will, and it's because they're not based off of human faces; they're based off of cat faces. And that broke my brain.
That's
and
fair.
It went through the whole thing showing different popular ones. And I'm like, oh, that's a cat. That's why I love this so much. And so, yeah, thought that was kind of neat. So anyway.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. All right. So moving on to April. April, couple choices here too. If we're talking the New Yorkian April from Mirage, which is definitely like a multi-ethnic April that she appears to be in Mirage, right?
Right.
Then she'll definitely be into freestyle music.
Okay.
So "Stranger in My House" by Tamia would be the one. I'm gonna listen to that real fast because I didn't have time. But now that I've got this thing where I can listen to it on my own.
There you go. Yeah. But I could see that. Yeah.
Oh. Word. So it's definitely that like slow jams R&B.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
little
like
bit.
Minnie Riperton and stuff like that, or
yeah. I'm waiting to hear the vocals.
Like some I just think a slow jam by by Kanye and Twista and Jamie Foxx with 2 X's.
Yeah, the best way to describe this song by Tamia, "Stranger in My House," is definitely like slow jams.
Okay.
Like that'd be like it's definitely slow jams.
Interesting.
It says here, but if we're talking about the April from the '87 cartoon, then she'll be on some basic bitch shit like 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton.
Oh, absolutely, 100%,
and not ironically, yeah. So, 1,000 Miles is one of my most hated songs.
Yeah, I get it.
That song is like being at the dentist, but what if you weren't? Like. And the problem is that it's like it's a little bit like coronavirus. It was literally engineered to get in you.
Oh, definitely.
It is absolutely like just hooking your head and be like, "I'm Vanessa Carlton." You're like, "I hate you," and that's like how you live like your whole life. That song, I do borderline be banned.
I do like
for the faith of humanity.
Yeah, well, I do like that she does talk about like some transcendental kind of stuff, talking about if I could fall into the sky, would time pass me by? Like that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, I can think like that. But then when she gets into the math of everything, you could not walk 1,000 miles.
No.
In the time frame that she set up for herself. So she's setting her love up for failure, and it's an unrealistic expectation to already meet in general. So like, even if even if you could though, like, why would you want to see anyone who just did that? They're going to be tired. They're just going to want to sleep. So they're going to see you for a second and go to sleep. Well, that's lazy, and that's inconsiderate to the recipient of this, the said 1,000 miles or however long it was. And so, yeah, no, I have a lot of problems with it too, especially the gas mileage on that piano. Like, that was just the most atrocious thing in that video.
100%.
Like, yeah, no, that does not compute.
No.
So, but I agree, April would listen to that.
I couldn't walk half a mile if I had to listen to da-na-na-na, 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 da-na-na. I'd be like, just fall down.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that song was engineered to be in the grocery store.
Definitely.
And it's
Like
insanity.
Like they're writing it. They're writing it, and they're like,
yeah.
Oh, people in Publix are gonna love this shit. Like,
Well, yeah, and then Michael McDonald brings up the Proclaimers, and
I agree.
Proclaimers
Same
are
thing.
like I'll walk like 1,500 miles. Basically, is what they talk about in the song. She's like, well, I'll walk 1,000 miles. And I'm like, well, you're not even the highest mileage,
Right? Yeah, yeah.
and your song's worse because the Proclaimers song is way better than that.
Right.
Oh, I believe that all Sheryl Crow songs were written to eventually play at Publix. Like
Absolutely. I
Sheryl
concur.
Crow is the worst.
I
don't like any of her songs.
I don't really care for
they've all like
any of her songs. I think there might be a deep cut that maybe I heard because, ironically enough, my wife Shannon is
the early stuff.
The early stuff. The real fans. It came on and she just knew every word, and I'm like, who did I marry? I needed to spend more time before I made this decision.
Sleeper.
But
that's
yeah,
some sleeper cell shit right there.
Exactly.
Dude. That's some, like, there are 3 flowers in the vase and one is green kind of shit. Like, I think you just activated a doll, bro.
Yeah,
that's dead ass.
So, but I think something came on there, and I was like, oh, like, okay. Father Preston says, do you like that Sheryl Crow Ryan Adams joint? I don't remember that. I probably not, but I don't know. I'll let Ryan handle Mike's
Ryan,
comment.
I don't know if you're into Schadenfreude. Yes. I love watching people get fucked. I mean, like, I love, like, if that's
wait a second. Wait a minute.
It's not like, I love watching people like absolutely get destroyed.
Okay.
In the actual Schadenfreude, like, actual like definition of it.
Oh yeah.
Master tapes from her biggest albums were lost in a fire. Damn, so when you say die in a fire,
dang,
you literally mean that. We're talking about Sheryl Crow and not Vanessa Carlton, although
right.
I'm fine with that too. Sean Anderson in the chat. What's up, gents?
Hello.
Sean Anderson. We are reading we're diving into an email right now. It is all about the TMNT characters and their musical taste, which we do need to press the gas pedal on a bit. We still have something to go here.
We got a lot.
So for April, I will agree and relent.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, the Universal Music incident. I actually do. There was a huge fire. They lost a bunch of stuff in that. A lot of people lost a lot of stuff in that. All right. So that's April. I will concede the point. April's probably into slow jams or whatever's on the radio. And 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton, she'd be humming that all day, especially the 87 April. She'd be like, you'd be like, okay, April, like, stop.
Yeah.
So moving on. Irma. Easy one for Irma. Decepticon by Le Tigre.
Oh, I disagree. I disagree. I don't think Irma would be this hip. Irma would not.
You don't think she'd be in Le Tigre?
She would not be listening to Le Tigre. No, I don't think she would be.
I can see Jono's point where Le Tigre sounds like Irma. Le Tigre sounds like if Irma had a band, it would sound like it would be Le Tigre.
But she would not be aware of this. She on her own
probably wouldn't be aware of Le Tigre.
Yeah, she would not know where to find this or anything. But
if anyone played Le Tigre for her, she would probably like. It would probably be like going back in time and meeting yourself.
Yeah.
Like she'd probably be like, and get like fucked up and then hate it because. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think she'd know how to
that are most like yourself. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think she would know how to interpret it. I don't think she would comprehend it. Kind of like when someone like plays like just extreme metal for somebody, like they just don't, or like some weird world music that has like different time signatures and stuff. I don't think that she would be able
so
to.
you're playing her. You're playing her dumb as shit then.
Not dumb, but just that she probably falls in line with a lot of the basic stuff because based on the '87 series, we know that she's hungry for more Howie. And Howie was on that like Billy Joel like pop kind of stuff, and
True.
I can see her getting down on like some of that, like some Elton John or like even
we never got enough Irma. Can I just say that we never got character development for Irma? Not ever. Can I just say that?
Absolutely.
It is amazing that Irma was literally on seasons and seasons and seasons of this goddamn show, and we never got one character development. Like, can you describe Irma without using her name or occupation?
Or
who she knows? She barely passes that basic character test. And I hate that. Except we know, all right, so she's thirsty.
Right.
Like, so that's not her name or occupation or who she knows. Like, she's thirsty. She could be annoying, right? We know that.
Mm-hmm.
But those aren't great things. I would like to know Irma enough to know if she would like Latigre. Maybe she would. Maybe she loves obnoxious shit. Maybe all she does is listen to Cyndi Lauper. And like, she's like, the more like plaintive and shrill, the better.
Right.
But you just don't know that because they don't tell you anything about her ever.
It's true.
Shawn Anderson says time after time.
Which is Cyndi Lauper. Yeah.
See, right on that Cyndi Lauper. You know what I mean? She can let those true colors shine through.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like
I
the
can
time
totally
that I let my true voice shine through one time when I was in elementary school because I had that song stuck in my head.
Yeah.
And I was just I was doing there and I was in elementary school and I thought back when this is like first grade.
Okay.
I thought that if you I can't even do it and hope that I don't think the mic will pick it up on Discord. No. But if you were to slowly just kind of vibrate your throat, like to sing, like very low or talk very low, I was convinced people couldn't hear that.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
So I remember I had that song stuck in my head, bro. And time after time, or no, it was the True Color song.
Yeah.
We were at PE, which I thought was even better.
Oh, that's okay. That's like better. Yeah, that's definitely better.
I'm like down in my throat, like singing that song. And this kid, who was like the meanest ass kid in the world, was standing next to me, and he just looks over and he's like, "How about those True Colors, bro?" Or whatever. And I was like, I literally was like, I thought, yo, this kid can read minds, son.
Right.
Because there's no way people. I was convinced that you couldn't
he can
hear
read minds.
It was in my throat, but I didn't open my mouth. You couldn't hear me. So I was like, yo, this kid reading minds. And he was like, to see you true colors. I'm like, fuck. And then he's like, this kid really singing True Colors. Like, I got blown out, bro. And
that's so good.
But I thought he was just a mind reader. So then, like, later on in class, the teacher called me to like her desk because I didn't do my work right or something. And I went up there and I literally was arguing with her while she's talking in my little throat. And she looked at me like, what? And I was like, oh. And she was like, I can hear you're just talking in your throat or something. I'm like, what are you talking about? Right. I wasn't doing that. She's like, yeah, you need to like be quiet and listen. And I'm like, no. And I got disabused of that notion.
Oh, I love that.
But I was those true colors were shining through for me on the playground when thought I was singing to myself.
That's beautiful. Father Preston sent me a text to let me know of the Sheryl Crow Ryan Adams song, and it's 2. And yes, I like that song. So I think that's on Easy Tiger, which is a good record. So yeah, I can concede Sheryl Crow on that one. But yeah, I don't know. I think Irma's just gonna listen to the radio. I think that's just whatever's popular, and she sticks with like Billy Joel type piano type stuff. And that's what I'm thinking.
Word. Baxter Stockman. Road to Nowhere by Talking Heads. All day, every day for my evil as shit homeboy.
Evil as shit.
Also, if we're talking about the 87 Goon, I would say the Monster Mash.
Both hard agree. Hard agree.
He was hard agree with both of those. Yep. I think Scientist Baxter would be all about Talking Heads.
And
I totally agree.
All the new wave stuff, especially anything that's also kind of niche, like oh gosh, I can't. My wife's gonna kill me, but what's
soft
his
cell?
name?
He'd be really into soft cell.
Oh yeah, definitely
soft cell boy. Dude.
And then who was the guy that did? He was in Rockula, and he was in I think he did Blinded Me with Science. I can't think, but all that guy's stuff and. Dolby.
Thomas Dolby.
Thomas Dolby. That's it. Woo. Goodness.
God damn. I was like blanking.
Yeah, I was too, and I was like, there's
Thomas Dolby
right there. But yeah, he would be all over Thomas Dolby.
Oh,
and
totally.
yeah, so I totally agree with that. Jono, yeah, totally.
So Vernon, you know as well as I do that Vernon listens to the Smiths. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a tattoo of some gladioli on his collarbone. Yeah,
That's
so
amazing. I love that.
once again, I can't deny that he listens to that. The only thing about Vernon, I agree with the Smiths because he deserves the Smiths. The only thing I can argue about Vernon, though,
Yeah.
is that he may honestly have the musical taste of Patrick Bateman from American Psycho.
That's what I'm thinking. Yes.
It's only the cleanest,
like most
current
well-produced
80s hits,
Yeah.
well produced. He's basically, I think he's basically Patrick Bateman. I think that he's literally like,
he's like Huey Lewis in the News, and then
yes,
just Duran Duran,
the
stuff
clean, like clean, well produced pop of the time. He's the
Right.
guy that has pride that he only listens to the hits.
Yes.
Like he's that boy. He's like only the hits. It's top 40.
Yeah, top
Like
40.
that'd be your man. Like if a song falls out of top 40, he stops listening to it.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer in the top 40. He's like a weird like music eugenist. Like he like survival of the fittest. Like at all times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can see him being that way. I can see him being like
eugenist.
music eugenist. I can see him literally like the minute like it's him to be square is off the top 40, he throws the single away.
Right. Yeah.
Like he's like, well, you used to be good, but like now you're horse shit, crap, and I throw it in the garbage can. Like, be like, all right, well, that Duran Duran hot business, let me get that album.
Yeah.
And the minute that drops off the Billboard Top 200, he's like, I'm
Done
throw out
with
the
that.
window.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. That's so fucking funny.
It's so good.
So Burn Thompson gets a last entry. Burn Thompson. Now I was tempted to have Burn be a fan of the Go-Go's or the Go.
That's the thing. The joke that the Go-Go's. That's the joke. So that's good.
But I don't think he's that forward thinking. I think he would. I think he would say he sits in his office listening to Dave Matthews Band while thinking of ways to dock April's pay.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, hard
I
agree.
think Burn Thompson is a hard Frank Sinatra dude.
Oh, I could see that.
He's sitting there like in the clouds and like in his office, like thinking about like how do I rob April again?
Yeah.
He's the guy who rolls through like humming New York, New York.
Yeah.
To himself, walking
totally.
through the streets of New York like it's a movie.
Yeah.
All the time.
I get that. I can agree on
Because
that.
you got me when you said he's not that forward thinking. That's what made me think about it. Yeah, he's listening to the old crooners.
Yeah.
Like that's the only men who are real men enough for him to listen to.
Right.
Like, yeah.
I agree.
So he says, what do you guys think? How about Casey, Krang, Bebop, and Rocksteady? Also, I've just finished listening to episode 307, and I have to say that from being raised in the UK, then living in the US, I've experienced both sides of the day, month, year argument.
Oh yeah.
Before I moved to the US, I thought the UK way was the best. It made the most sense because you go in order of size from smallest to largest, day, month, year. But then once I got used to the US way, it makes a lot more sense because, like Ryan, Rodimus said, he used my true name, bro.
Oh,
like if I was a demon, that's how you'd like
your Cybertronian
bind me.
Oh yeah.
You just be like, oh, I know his true name is Rodimus. I'd be like, oh, I'm captured. The month is the most important piece of information. The month gets you prepped for the rest of the information, which is to follow. Give me that month, man. Hit me with it. I can't wait. Also, you might find this interesting. We also heard about the ghost in 3 Men and a Baby. Because we're talking about that too. The ghost in that movie.
Yeah.
We also heard about the ghost in 3 Men and a Baby. I remember everyone talking about it at school and trying like mad to watch the film, and then trying to pause the screen at the right point. Crazy days.
Oh yeah.
Keep up a good work, ninjas. All the best, Jono.
Woo.
That's the thing, and I'm glad that we have someone who's lived on both sides of the pond.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who can talk about it. Yes, day, month, year works because it is smallest to biggest.
Yeah.
The biggest.
Yeah.
And if I was to tell you in an official way, like the date of some event,
right?
It sounds cool to say the 1st of April, 1994.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's a cool way to say it, but I'm glad we agree on this. The month is super relevant.
It is.
Like, weirdly more than the day. Like, you need to know it is April. Everyone's like, oh, fair. The 4th, 1994. You're like, fair.
Right.
Like, so, the month's important.
Exactly.
And if you want to talk about from smallest to biggest, technically, oftentimes, well, more than half the time, the month number is the smallest number in a date when you write it month, day, year. Because months only go up to 12. But after the 12th in a month, 13, 14, all the way up, that number is bigger. More than half of the month, that number is bigger than the month number that precedes it.
Right.
So the numbers are more often smallest to biggest.
And 11th of September doesn't roll off the tongue as well as September 11th. So like it just doesn't roll off the tongue.
Yeah, because because if 9/11 happened in the UK, it'd be 11/9.
Yeah,
it would mean nothing.
No, they probably wouldn't have had it happen then because of the way it doesn't roll off the tongue. They probably would have done it a different day.
Y'all would have got it November 9th.
Yeah. Oh, that's what.
Oh no.
That's amazing. Oh, that's so good.
Y'all would have got that. They would have been all set for September, and one of them would have been like, "Hold on,
we gotta wait.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I just figured this out.
Yeah,
they transpose those,
right?
And you just sit around for 2 months. Just think about it.
Yeah. Hi, I'd like to change my plane tickets.
Maybe. Oh God, this is like so insensitive. All I'm saying is maybe absolutely. It wouldn't have happened. Because you get cold feet. Because if someone tells you so if you're getting ready for September 11th,
okay,
and you knew, you're like, even beforehand, you're like, hey, it's September 11th. That's the day, 9/11, dude. Like, we're doing this on purpose. Like, this is symbolism, bro. We're gonna ruin America because they basically did.
Right.
Let's just be honest. They basically completely ruined the country when they did that,
or they at least fast trackcked us there.
No, they took a good probably 50 years off the life of the U.S. when they did that.
Yeah,
at least, because we're almost in Mad Max mode now. I mean, like at this point, but it's the day. Imagine if somebody on September 10th in England said, "Dude, I'm sorry, but I just thought of this." They transposed the month and day, so it's not going to be 9/11. It's going to be 1/19.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, damn.
Oh,
it's like,
dang.
But hey, it's all good because obviously, right? November 9th.
Yeah, there we go.
So,
what's
everything just, man, just hang out. Go see your family again. Just kind of chill out. Just kind of go wherever you want. Like, you're hanging out. So just go do whatever you want.
That's amazing.
I bet you in that amount of time, like they get back together in October sometime, catch a beer, and they'd be like, all it takes is one, too. It takes one of those cats to be like, after like the 10th beer that night, closing down the pub, they're like, I'm just saying that, like, that's real hard.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just saying that, like, that's like real crazy to do that if you think about it. And
if you think
that's all it takes. Is one guy's like, no, I feel you. Like, and that's all it is. And then everyone just goes, no, we're not doing that.
So, that's so good.
Brutal. Well, thanks for the email, John.
Yes,
Jesus.
Thank you. Preston wants to know, Father Preston wants to know who's got UB40. So,
okay. UB40, that is Vernon territory.
That's what I was thinking.
Opinion.
Yeah.
Because UB40 was at the top of the charts, so that red wine.
Yep.
Only a guy like Vernon could listen to that garbage song and be like, well, him and Brett Kavanaugh, who's another garbage person, could literally be like, oh no, that's my favorite song right now.
Right. Yeah.
Red wine. I think I told this story on the podcast when I was like, man, I wonder what other UB40 sounds like around that whole Brett Kavanaugh thing. So I got like UB40's greatest hits or whatever on Apple Music, dude. And every song starts the same. It's like just pre-programmed like background music on like a Casio keyboard.
Yeah.
It goes like every song goes dun, 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 dun,
oh yeah.
You're like, oh, all right.
Yep.
Next track. Doom. It's the same key. It's the same key. It's the same key with just different drum loop fills in the beginning of it. And, and you deserve what you get if you like that.
That's true. You do.
The only person that's able to use a Casio backing with the same music and just do different things is Wesley Willis.
Yep.
I'm glad you're right there with me.
Oh yeah.
All right. So we have an email from Robbie James.
Ooh.
And this is an update on his life and times. It includes visual aids.
Oh, yeah,
and
we
it
have visual
gets
aids.
into some of the lore of the show. And these are things that, we hear about, things go on, and I'll be honest, like, I still worry about when Danny figures out how to break into YouTube, like he seems to not have.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And at first I was worried it was going to take the form of like a brick through the window when he's in my room.
Right.
Or he would sneak in through the air vents in your house.
Yeah.
Or, pose
now you just
dead
got to worry
and
about
have Shannon, your wife, drag him in the house. Like, look, I found this dead person in the backyard. I'm gonna make
art out of it.
And,
yeah.
And then he's like, gotcha, really, he gets out or whatever. Like, I don't know. Or something. But like, he hasn't, and it's weird. This is an update on what's going on, and I'm gonna tell you something, it's a little weird. Here we go.
All right, let's go.
Greetings, Ryan, Eric and Ryan. This is your fellow Turtletarian and Virginian correspondent reporting in with a well overdue update.
Ooh.
While life has been busy over the last year or so, I've made it a habit of keeping up to date on the current episodes when possible. I've yet to be able to catch a live stream due to my schedule, but take that guilty pleasure in letting episodes build up and listening to them in the classic binge format. Eventually, I will catch a live stream and hopefully join you guys during a chat to earn my official Turtleification certification honor badge. That is true.
That's great. Yeah.
You will not. There's only so many episodes of Next Mutation, especially after we start doing 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Two back to back on these
blow
episodes.
through.
You're not gonna be able to get certified here in a little bit. So we're gonna need you, Robbie, to come on in.
Mm-hmm.
A lot has happened since I last reported in, but I'd like to share a few interesting stories here. This is a story I thought I would never see that would never see the light of day, but given the proper amount of time seems to have passed, I feel it's safe to share. Long ago, I remember Ryan talking about an old upright arcade cabinet that would allow you to load up different games and play different versions of NES games on it back in the 80s and late 80s, early 90s. This is the first way I experienced a classic NES TMNT game that had all of us frustrated at the dam, except for Eric, famously.
Yep.
Just genetically superior in every way.
You know it.
Look at it.
Look at it. It's back here.
Oh God, I was worried I was going to lose my place, and I did. I found this cabinet in the food court area of a now retired indoor flea market, and even as a kid, I knew there was something unofficial about that setup. It did not have the Nintendo seal of quality.
No, it did
you know
not.
What I'm saying? That's how you know.
I absolutely know. Yeah.
It was one of the sketchiest experiences I ever encountered in a flea market until I met Danny.
Oh, Danny. Goodness.
A little over 3 years ago, before the world went to hell due to the global bastard of a pandemic, I was at the local fairground that was hosting a flea market. I was sitting there minding my business when I was approached by an interesting fellow, to say the least. As soon as he spoke, I recognized the voice thanks to listening to Turtle Soup for as long as I have. That's how we should market ourselves. Hey, listen, you need to get to know this voice because when this man approaches you, you might not recognize him because you've really never seen him before.
Right, but you'll hear him.
Get to know that voice, and then you know to be on alarm. Obviously, Robbie here heard the voice, and he could run if he wanted to. He had time.
Oh, yeah,
you know
had
what I mean?
time.
But sometimes you may not have time. It only took a few seconds to confirm my suspicions that I was in fact being approached by the infamous domestic Danny. I guess he had pulled the patron list because he immediately knew who I was and knew I shared not only a love for TMNT, but for professional wrestling as well. As he began talking, I realized he was trying to ask for a commission and wanted me to help him with a few ideas for a wrestling promotion that he was hoping to get off the ground. That's interesting.
Yeah, considering.
He informed me that his only signed wrestler was a fellow named Bad Boy Billy Roses.
Oh.
And he had a commentary team in mind that consisted of 2 guys with incredibly smooth voices.
Uh-oh.
That were going to commentate for him whether they wanted to or not. Looking back on it, I didn't realize this was the beginning of a kidnapping/forceful employment attempt. Ooh. And if I had said something earlier, perhaps I could have warned you both, and you would have been spared such a horrific experience.
Dang. 200 episodes or 200 or 100 and something episodes late, but Jeez.
So this is a prequel.
Yeah.
About how we got abducted. Okay.
About before 200. Yeah.
I had just those wounds had just covered over, and now they're ripped open again.
Right back up.
He asked if I would come up with a world championship design for his promotion, which I found out was going to be called Real Good Wrestling. And he wanted me to design in-ring and entrance attire complete with a fur cloak for his star champion. He was very persistent that it would be a cloak and not a coat. And the passion in which he made that clear was very alarming. Reluctantly, I agreed to help him out after being somewhat concerned about what may happen if I didn't go along with his request. He said he would offer me a Laserdisc player and an old school big screen TV for my trouble. And I would have to arrange, but I would have to arrange delivery myself.
Of course. Yeah.
Scared for my life, I simply told him to keep his offerings and I would do the work for free. So I did what anyone without any knowledge of creating wrestling attire would do and loaded up the creation suite in the 2K video game to come up with some rough designs.
Oh.
Why Danny thought I was a designer was as much a mystery as this entire encounter had been so far.
That sounds about right.
I spent the last 3 years of my life looking over my shoulder for Danny's return. And now that there seems to be no word of Real Good Wrestling making a significant impact, I think it's safe to share what could have been Danny's vision come to life. If you see Danny, please tell him, him and Billy, to feel free to use these designs and no payment is needed whatsoever.
Oh,
I'll be following up with a more pleasant email and sharing a much more interesting story. I feel it was important to get this off my back and share these images. Perhaps they may be needed to keep Danny at bay should he try to make the two of you the next Michael Cole and Pat McAfee of a flea market wrestling league. Until next time, champs, Robbie James. And he included his, he attached his designs.
He did. And
so that is the belt. That is the Real Good Wrestling Championship belt.
Wrestling belt. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. So yeah,
and I mean, yeah,
I like it. It's real simple. It's real clean.
Yeah, it is real clean. There's room for.
Although it looks like
fake diamonds. That's a little naked.
That's what I was about to say. That looks like a little bit of naked combat there. But
someone could bust in, but like we're not worried about that. Real Good Wrestling. That's really good.
That's so good. That's so much fun.
That's really good. That's a great design. I can see where he might want that.
I totally see that. So then next up are some so like he was saying that he had made some mock-ups of like a Bad Boy Billy Rose's like costume ideas for
what he could wear in the ring.
Right. So this is
I guess that's all you need to hear on the back of that.
The back of that. Yeah, Bad Boy. And the roses. So
those
good.
Roses
but the lips on the knees
kiss on the knee, getting the kiss from the rose. That is dead on.
That is so good.
And I can tell you now. Listen. So this is interesting because this is adding like a new wrinkle to the past because I don't know if they took your design or not or what that was. But when Billy Roses showed up, he looked just like this.
He did. Very close to this.
Knee pads,
oh yeah.
Like because I took a kiss from a rose. You'll never forget. I mean, I won't.
No.
It took me years to recover the memories.
Yeah.
But when they came in the room, I got a kiss to the rose
just like
upon entry when the door opened.
Exactly. And
I took one of those. That's the last thing I saw was a pair of red lips like right in my face, and that was it.
So what most listeners might not know is that two things about those knee pads. One, they're modeled after Robbie James's lips. Actually, those are like his exact like lips. Second is that they're not just ink on the knee pad. It's actually like a stamp. So yeah. So
the lip. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you say the lipstick comes off on your face.
Right.
Like
yes.
That was
because you had that for like a long time, which is why we didn't go to YouTube sooner, was because you needed
I was
to
having
let
to
that
recover from that.
Exactly.
I thought it was just the lipstick, but it turns out maybe it's just cheap flea market lipstick. It infected my skin on my face, like right in the same like
the pattern
of that.
Yeah.
The pattern of that.
It was wild. Yeah. So Robbie, you might want to make sure that they're not.
Yeah,
still
I don't
using
know
your
whether
lip,
I don't know
your lip
what
print.
preceded what in the timeline at this point.
Yeah, I don't either. But now we got the cloak, if you will, and
the cloak.
You got
the fur cloak, not a coat.
Not a coat.
Cloak.
there's that, and
Mm.
yeah, I can get. I get this. I like this. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's kind of got that shredder garbage bag looking thing going on here. So
No, no, I like that shredder garbage bag
I do too. I
homage.
love it. I love
I
it.
like that. I like. Yeah, no, the fur cloak is. I mean, that matches the assignment.
It does. And then let's see here. Let's see it from the front. Oh my goodness. And then you got the glasses up
Mm.
there. And
This
oh
actually
man.
looks a lot better than what Billy Rose's wore in the wrestling match that we called.
That's true.
Like
Yes.
he didn't have like it wasn't red.
It was not. But I
It
actually
was
think
fur
it was
and it
real
was a
fur.
cloak,
Yeah.
but I think it was made from several raccoons. I mean,
Several.
a lot of them.
Right.
And that was about
Like
what he had.
think of the most raccoons and then imagine more than that.
Yeah,
And
this almost like it had to be made out of like mini baby raccoons, almost like they were too young, and
Right.
thus it required like a million.
And then the other thing that was different was that the lack of nipple rings in just one nipple right here. That was another thing that was different because Billy Rose's had like
Yeah.
10 nipple rings.
At the
and
time, it was
wild.
almost like a
Just in one.
janitor's key ring.
It literally
like
that's what it
situation
was.
going on.
I
up
think he
that,
actually
yeah.
had a carbine a carbiner thing in his like as one of the
Yeah.
rings. And so yeah,
Uh-huh.
it was a weird time to be alive. But
Yeah.
but yeah, those looked really good. So Robbie, like goodness, you might need
No,
to get
the
in contact.
designs are. I mean, yeah. Well, maybe you don't want to get. In
Oh, actually, no.
contact.
As after I said it, I
You know what I
regretted
mean?
it. So,
Like, yeah, like
yeah, you might want to rethink that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, those designs are excellent, and so
they were. Those
you might have a
great.
new
Those are great.
career in you know wrestle.
Like I said, I think
attire.
he definitely lifted. I think what happened was they lifted your trunks and knee pads and stuff from your design for free.com. They just like took what you did and they were like, we're going to use that. But I still think that at the time Danny could source
Yeah,
the red fur cloak. I just don't think he was capable of. Maybe he didn't have time to bleach the raccoon fur and get it red.
who has
Maybe
time?
I have no idea. Maybe he just didn't want to move. Because I know that Billy Rose is basically a walking billboard for his fur cloak store. So
Right.
at the time, even though they've shut that big top flea market.
Oh yeah,
down
it's
at
gone.
this point. Like so,
It's
there's
long time
no
gone.
the site, which is good. You know what I mean? I feel like after what happened, you wonder why after what happened with Real Good Wrestling over there and Danny and Mr. Bucket and everything,
Oh yeah,
then the big top closed down. That's all I'm gonna say. And never was it reported they were connected.
but
Really, like no one said anything about it to them lately.
Lately, yeah,
But it wasn't much longer.
no,
That's
it
all I'm
was
gonna
not.
say.
Yeah,
And all those great stores that we had to read the sponsorships for.
Oh my goodness, that was a good time. At least for that one brief moment, that was fun.
Get blown again. Bro.
Yeah, it was. Oh, that was excellent.
What was it? Most likely your number one fans store. or
That's what it
something
was.
like that?
I was trying to think. Yeah, Francisco's fan service store.
Yeah.
and yeah, most likely your number one fan store.
Come here to get blown.
Come here and
again.
get blown again. Yeah, that was excellent.
Oh, I might have to go
Yeah.
back and listen. I don't know. My therapist told me I shouldn't go back and listen to it, but I've always been curious about like how it all went down.
Oh yeah, because you have a different
Um,
experience than what I did. So yeah, and the listeners.
Well, and it's hard too because we were. I mean, whatever. When later on when we went to the police and we had like the shock blankets over us, like after the whole thing was over,
right.
they said they drew our blood and they gave Eric a pap smear for some reason.
They did. I
and
liked it though.
We didn't. I just got a pat smear.
Yeah.
So like that. I just got to like hang out with Pat Smear, but
Right.
it was awkward because I was like, there was so much I wanted to tell him, but I'd just been through a traumatic incident and I couldn't stop shaking. So like
Yeah.
he was like, man, I feel bad for you, dude. And I was like, dings, Ben. And that was basically all we could get out.
Yeah.
But none of those tests came back for anything crazy. But I was pretty sure we were drugged
Oh,
because from what other people said when they listened to it and whatever, they said it sounded like I was like like I was all about it.
right.
But my only memories are being like trapped inside a rictus body that I was not in control of, almost like some fire in the sky shit. Like
Right.
it was like the worst, and I don't know. But thanks, Robbie.
It was a wild time, but yeah, Robbie, thank you so much. And it's nice to have a little bit more insight to a traumatic event that happened. 200 episodes.
Yeah,
100 episodes
you
ago.
wonder like how traumatic was it?
But yeah,
And then
exactly.
you find out it was really goddamn. It was really
Yeah,
traumatic.
and it affected all of us, the listeners, us here at the show. So yeah, but it's about the friends we made along the way, though. Is really
it
important.
is about the friends we made along the way. That is a great point.
It is. Yeah. Whew.
Oh man, I tell you what. Yeah, I don't know if we should shut her down at this point, Eric. I feel like we got our emails out of the way.
We got our emails out. We got some good talk in there.
Oh, programming notes. So we really want to come on and do this chef special for everyone live, or you can listen to it later. Because next week we will not be doing Turtle Soup because Eric has stuff, and so we'll have to come back the week after. But there's going to be dose episodes.
It's true
of the next mutation on that episode.
Yeah,
so you get double the pleasure, double your fun, or as Eric says all the time, and twins.
Yeah, exactly. And so we heard your emails and your cries for more soup, more spoons, and so we got 2 spoons,
more
2 scoops.
more soup, quicker soup.
Yes.
As far as timeline goes, we have an email from John Klein. We're going to read it on the show because it did address like format stuff, and I wanted to put that on the show so that audio only listeners could hear that update and potentially be interested in writing their own, because I would Eric and I would both love to know your ideas on the format going forward and stuff like that.
Definitely.
But no, by the time we do another Turtle Soup, I will probably have figured out what I'm going to do with all my baseball time. Like,
okay. Where to put your mental health?
What's the time my mental health to? I will figure that out somewhat.
Okay.
And I'll probably be a little not as flat tonight. I feel like I've been a little bit flat.
I disagree. Until like the last probably like 3 minutes, I'd say that you've been pretty fizzy. Like the last 3 minutes have been a little
fizzy.
flat, but you've been fizzy.
Fizzy not flat.
Fizzy not flat. No, fizzy not flat.
Bro.
Oh, that's a fun thing to say. Say it again.
Fizzy not flat.
That's kind of fun.
Fizzy not kind of fun. Fizzy not flat sounds like a really cool Star Wars character name. Like it'll all be like one word.
It does. Fizzy not flat.
And like it would be like spelled real weird. So someone would be like Fizzu Nav, and you're like, no, dude, it sounds like fizzy not flat. That's how you say it. Like
exactly.
And they're like, oh, fizzy not flat. Like and like, oh, okay, like
sure. Yeah.
We have to learn other words to be able to pronounce one word.
Right. That's the way that's the way they did it a long time ago. We've evolved past that. But
they fell in love and they'll pay the price.
Oh jeez, was that the tagline?
No, it's something. God, it's something that George Lucas said, like on those classic
Red Letter Media. Yeah,
like where they used the stuff from the bonus, like the bonus behind the scenes stuff where he's explaining the script, and they just use it so perfectly.
Yeah.
At one point, they're just complaining about like the whole like how the movie's just episode 1 was just written by like an old man who like just was crabby and hated everything and like wasn't cool with love, and it just wasn't cool with young people having a good time at all. And it cuts to him saying like about Padme and Anakin. He's like, well, they fell in love and they'll pay the price. And you're like,
that's wild.
Cool.
Yep. Okay.
Like when you actually watch those prequels through that lens alone, if I just told you watch that movie through a get off my lawn lens,
right?
Like, that the guy who wrote this is like, young people can go die. Like, I don't care about young love or angst or anything. I don't care about it. And if you do it in my movie, your characters will face some kind of like fatalistic pain because you did things I don't like. The movie is kind of broken like that. If you watch it again from that angle, you're like, what if God was like a 70-year-old man who lived like a frog and hated all young people?
Yeah, who's to say he's not?
Like,
I mean, an argument could be made.
70 million-year-old man, 7 billion-year-old man.
I don't know.
Someone needs to carbon date something with that guy. But even though You don't believe the carbon date.
If you don't,
That'd be the cruelest twist of all.
oh yeah,
If I published an article that said I carbon dated God, you'd be like, I can't.